Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, I am Harry. I'm a voice teacher in New Zealand. I asked for some more things to react to, and you guys, a few of you suggested the Tiny Desk concert from BTS. So I'm just gonna watch the whole thing. It's 14 minutes long, so with me chatting like halfway through, it's probably gonna end up being like 25 minutes at least. So get comfy, and yeah, let's go.
Jump up to the top, LeBron. Hey, think time, call me on my phone. Nice thing, and I get my ping pong. Hey, this, hey, we hit the bass, boom, I rap. That's sweet as honey. Yeah, this big string like money. This know all the love I mean today. I'm good to go. I'm done. You know I go. Hey, so let's go. Cause I'm in this dance tonight. So watch me bring the fire.
Let's go over like a few bits of what we've heard so far. If it looks like I'm kind of squinting a bit, firstly, it is so sunny right now in New Zealand. It's like 29 degrees, something stupid like that. So bear with me. And also I'm trying to focus on who is singing, because I know when I can pick up Jimin's voice and I can pick up V's voice pretty easily. They've both got very unique tones to their voice. I haven't heard a whole lot of RM singing or Sugar singing or J-Hope singing. So yeah, I'm kind of just trying to work out who's sounding like who at this point. There's a lot of auto-tune on these mics, like so much. When you can hear that sound that kind of makes it sound a bit glitchy, that's the sound, that's the auto-tune sound. And they've got it turned way up on here, and I kind of just wish they didn't, because I don't think they need it. I know that they are all wonderful singers and they're sitting down here, they've not got intensive choreography, and I just wish that we could hear a little bit more of them instead of having the auto-tune turned up quite so far. I'm loving Jimin right now. Wow. I wouldn't say this is his like full belt, but listen to how much he's putting into these notes. He's got a great mix. I also want to say that this is quite a tricky song. That light it up like dynamite, whoa. I'm working right the way down through my passages. It is harder for singers to come down through their passage than it is going up through their passage. They're doing it with such great control. His tone is so unique. I can't with him. Let me go back. Sophie's tone is like either like a nasal tone or like he's holding his larynx up pretty high, like that, or like this, somewhere along those lines, and I just can't place it. I can't figure out why the tone of his voice is that significant. But I love it. I think it's really unique and it suits him really well. There's a lot of auto-tune on that. And I thought his voice was going to be lower than it is, so I'm really surprised by that. Even there, that really enhanced electronic noise you can hear on the vocals, that is the pitching. So if you hear that, they use it a lot live, whether they're dancing or not dancing, and I do just think it's a little bit of a shame. Oh, okay, I have seen another video with Jin performing, and again, he's one that I don't know particularly well, and his head voice was really beautiful, really well controlled, and he was almost kind of like on par with Jimin in terms of his head voice stability. This is a lot different, so you can hear his head voice is a lot more airy, has a lot more of a breathy tone to it. I thought his voice was a lot higher placed than it is. That was a really, really well-controlled head mix up there for JK. You can see he's got his chin positioned down. Down is okay. You don't want to drop it kind of right to your chest. Down is much better than putting it up. Keeping it stable is even better, but whatever. It's not going to cause him any damage doing this. And he's hitting it so well, and he's holding that mix. Okay, I wanted to cover this at some point during a song in the future anyway, so this isn't a bad one to do it. I might find another bit to do it later on too. So if you saw during that when he was putting his chin down to do those belts, great, cool, love that. The bits popping out in his throat here. You've got so many groups of muscles in your throat that are there to do jobs, mainly supporting different parts of your throat. About 5 muscles or tubes just going from the back of the second rib down, I think it is, up to the top of the base of your skull. And what they are doing is they are supporting your rib cage. So as we're taking all these breaths and we're trying to use all our core support as well from down below, these are holding it from up the top. If we're trying to do something weird with our lungs or hold out our lungs to maximize our breath, they will come into play in supporting our rib cage. And then you have a whole nother set of muscles that are used for supporting the larynx. What they're doing is they're holding it, either tilting it down, raising it up, keeping it steady, whatever their job is. It could be those as well popping out if you are trying to reach a particular note and we are trying to make sure we are not raising that jaw. There are depressor muscles and elevation muscles used to keep that larynx still. So here, I don't think he's doing it unhealthily. Sometimes it can be a sign of strain. I don't think it is here. The sound that he's giving off is definitely not what you'd expect if you're hearing someone strain their voice. I just wanted to point out to you that when you see these things popping up, why?
Okay, here we are, BTS! We just played our latest single, Dynamite. It's a disco pop track that we simply want to share a great energy to everyone around the world.
Yeah, it's the first time we are performing Dynamite with a live band.
Yeah!
Thanks to our awesome band who's here with us today.
Also, we loved watching Tiny Desk performances and we are very, very, very honored and excited.
Yeah!
That's right. We hope everyone could also enjoy a tiny but not so tiny concert. So up next, our next song is called Save Me.
Yeah.
Say me.
Hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Let's go.
Here we go.
Please save me.
Are you ready?
Hey,
I'm in.
hey,
Can you hear me?
let's go.
이 밤이 싫어 이제 깨고 싶어 꿈속이 싫어 내 안에 갇혔어.
Sorry, early in the song, you can already hear Jimin doing his very typical vocal cries at the end of his sentences. Just listen to him throughout.
난 죽어 있어 Don't wanna be lonely Just wanna be yours
왜 이렇게 만들지 네가 내
seems to have more of this kind of ballady tone to his voice that I really want to hear more of now. I would love to hear just him singing a ballad kind of at full breath capacity and seeing how he sounds, because he could be really amazing. Ooh, okay. I love Suga's rapping. Suga, I don't know. His breath control is incredible. I can never rap, and if you have ever tried rapping, you'll know that you've got to take like a lot of sneaky little breaths at the right times, I guess, like, and you've got to be able to make it last as long as the phrases are. As a singer, you're fairly like set on your breathing. If you've got words in front of you, it's kind of easy to see where the phrases end, where the end of the sentences are, and the phrases on the music you're doing as well. And you know when you can take big breaths, you know when you can take little like snatch breaths. And yeah, it's not as difficult as I think when you're rapping and you've got to keep these words flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. I just can't. I just find it really amazing when people do. J-Hope, still, I haven't heard much of him. Like, that was all pretty set on the one note, and I want to hear him do more. Like, I really want to see what he's about. JK here has got some like vocal constriction. It's kind of like a raspy sound. If you listen to the beginning of his voices, it's almost a cross between like a growl and a fry. It's that, yeah, it's kind of like a gritty noise. So ready? At the beginning of that, there's that slight growly sound to it. That's vocal constriction. What is vocal constriction? It is when our false vocal folds go over our true vocal folds and don't allow them to stretch either as smoothly or quite as much. So it's quite often when you hear someone trying to hit a high note, it doesn't matter if it's your chest mix or your head mix. If you're trying to get a higher note out, and for JK here it's in a head mix, and they're not allowed to stretch as much as they want to go because there's an obstruction there, that's what creates this little growly sound. It's just a tiny bit of obstruction from the false vocal folds.
Thank you.
There's a little bit again there. I wonder if it's maybe something to do with his mic or if it is the vocal constriction. I'm not sure. I think the first one definitely was. But yeah, curious now. I really loved how easy that all was for Jimin. He didn't even have to try. Like, that's his comfortable range. RM, his rapping is incredible and he has such a deep tone to it. I would love to hear him sing more kind of and see if he can get the baritone ranges. I don't know what his true range is. Feel free to leave a comment if you know, because I have no idea.
Thank you. 와, 저희가 또 세미를 이렇게 오랜만에 부르게 되었네요.
진짜 오랜만에. 네네.
감사합니다.
특히나 이게 또 밴드 편곡을 해서 하니까 또 느낌이 또 색다른 것 같아요. 어땠어요?
너무 색다르네요.
감사합니다.
또 오랜만에 해서 또 너무 신나게 했고.
그러니까 옛날에 이제 밴드 형님들이랑 같이 콘서트 다닐 때가 생각이
새록새록하네요.
재밌었는데 그때.
춤을 안 추니까 답답하다.
네네 그래서 다음에 또 퍼포먼스를 함께 또 보여드릴 기회가 있으면 좋겠네요. Okay, alright. The next one is Spring Day, and I believe as such difficult time like now we all are wishing for the spring day to come. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's been the roughest summer ever. But we know that spring will come. So let's go together. Let's go.
보고 싶다 이렇게 말하니까 더 보고 싶다 너의 사진을 보고 있어도 보고 싶다 너무 약속한 시간 나는 우리가 밉다 이제 얼굴 한번 보는 것조차 힘들어진 우리가
여긴 온통 겨울뿐이야 8월에도 겨울이 와 마음의 시간이 달려가네 홀로 남은 설국 열차 네 손 잡고 지구 반대편까지 가 겨울을 끝내고파 그리움들이 얼마나 눈처럼 내려 그 봄날이 올까
공에 떠도는 자긴 먼지처럼 작은 먼지처럼
I don't know why every time like Jimin starts singing, I just have this massive smile. Right. I don't know. I didn't know. I wasn't expecting J-Hope. I wasn't expecting his voice to be as low a tone as it is. Yeah, like that caught me off guard. I don't know what I expected him to sound like, but it wasn't that. Jimin is just slaying it. Like, oh, I can't with him. He's so good. But are you noticing all of the cries? Like, let's just...
내려 그 봄날이 올까
공에 떠도는 자긴 먼지처럼 작은 먼지처럼
날리는 눈이 나라면 조금 더 빨리 내게 닿을 수 있을 텐데 끝까지 떨어져요 더 조금씩 멀어져요 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 얼마나 기다려요 동묘 밤을 더 세워
So even though that note da 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 sounds like it's pushing V quite a bit in his chest mix, not pushing as in tension, strain, pushing as in it's one of the higher notes that I think his chest mix will allow him to do. And he's still doing it though without belting. So he's not going, ha! No, he's keeping it quite held back and he's really allowing that note to come out without all of the force that he's probably putting up from his core support right now. You need a lot of core support for your chest mix and for belts. And he's doing a really good job of just allowing the right amount out. And I think that's a really good technique to have. So that's him doing the low bit, is it? Is he doing the low bit? Ah, I never knew he was like a low singer for them. I always wondered where the low tones kind of came for when they have all their harmonies that go on in a boy band and stuff. I didn't realise J-Hope was one of them. I always just assumed like Sugar and RM were the two that had kind of the lower ranges, just from, I guess, their speaking voices that I hear. But if that's J-Hope doing the lower one, that is cool. I like that for no reason other than I like it.
이 순간 흐르는 시간조차 미워 우리가 변한 거지 뭐 모두가 그런 거지 그래 네가 난 떠났지만 단 하나도 넌 이긴 적이 없어 나는 지금 보고 싶어 나는 이게 너 원하기보다 널 불어내 연기처럼 하얀 연기처럼.
And it's that. That's why I want to hear him sing ballads. He has that vibrato and the kind of clarity and depth to the tone that I want to hear in a ballad song. And he doesn't add as many cries as pretty much the whole rest of them do. I've heard cries, Jimin obviously coming out. I've heard JK doing quite a few cries, and I've heard V doing quite a few cries. All right, the other four maybe not so much, but I want to hear him do a ballad. If you have any links to, specifically to Jin, doing ballad type tracks where he gets a lot of time on it, I want to hear it. And there's that constriction again. I don't know why that is happening repeatedly on those notes. It may be that those notes lie in a tricky part of the first passage for him. It may just be, I don't know if he's warmed up, if he's had enough water, if he's feeling under the weather. I wouldn't have a clue. But that is repetitively happening on that note, which makes me think, okay, maybe it's a tricky part of his passage coming up for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for having us, Tiny Desk concert.
I really want to hear Jin doing ballads. I think his voice is so perfectly suited to them. I also am excited to hear RM if he does some solo stuff. I am all about that. I want to see what that is. I know people in the last one were like, oh, Jimin's got a new album coming out. Please support it. Yeah, cool. Absolutely would love to. I want to hear what he does on his own when he has kind of the whole range to play with. Obviously, right now, they've very much got their roles in the group. And I think once that's taken away and he can expand and do whatever he wants. I'm so ready for that. I'm just excited to hear what's coming from all of them. The auto-tune did annoy me in Dynamite, but I didn't notice it so much in the other songs. And their technique is all really good. I do still wonder about that constriction sound on JK, just on those notes in the chorus. I didn't hear it anywhere else, and I don't know why. I loved this Tiny Desk concert. I thought it was really cool hearing them all together live and watching them just have a great time without all the intensive choreography that they have to do for their shows. Thank you so much for recommending that. If you have any questions or things you would like me to react to next, please pop a link in the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button somewhere up there, and you can follow me on TikTok at VTStudio173. See you next time.